everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News website. We got another in our series of interviews with junior mining companies that have made good news. Today we have Harbour on the show. They've recently made an exceptional discovery of high-grade copper, and I thought it would be a good time to introduce the company. Andrew, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, you guys came out of the box with some impressive results. Hole 24 hit 5.25% copper, 436 grams of cobalt, 8.97 grams of silver, 0.801% zinc over 29 meters. You also had a 5.26 meter interval grading 2.84% copper, 31.96% zinc, and 42 grams of silver. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, no, thanks. These results are, way beyond expectations, that's for sure.
Not long before you guys came out with these results, I was thinking to myself, it sure has been a long time since the Diamond Fields resource days. And I really haven't seen anything that had grade and size potential since then. And now you guys, within a few days after that, you came out with these exceptional results.
Yeah, I mean, we got started on the project not too long ago. I mean, we've been around for, I guess Harbour has only been around for a few months now, but we got the project last March. In 12 months, I think we've accomplished quite a lot. We've gotten into 3 phases of drilling. We got started in late July, and I think we're just starting to see the early results from our drill programs that we've drilled almost 10,000 meters to date. So we've like I said, we've accomplished quite a bit in the short period of time. And I think I should really touch a little bit on our strategy. I mean, this was not a greenfield project. It's a project that had historical mining on it. Several companies, I guess from the mid 60s till a few, I guess back in 2011. I mean, there's been some exploration that's been done on the property, but a lot of the exploration work wasn't using, modern techniques. And, it was really focused on the main zone. I really want to put out there that the size of the project has expanded greatly from the 650 hectares originally. I guess that's kind of when Noranda did most of the work. We hold over 39. Actually, when we did the original option agreement, we had about 3,900 hectares, but now we've expanded it to 4,725. And a big reason why we did it was because of the geology, the Bay of Islands complex. We wanted to extend and capture all of that geology that we know could potentially have the mineralization in it.
Yeah, so, you guys had a webinar just after the results went out, and you put some very impressive information out on that in that webinar. The thing that stood out to me was, I think it was one of your first couple slides, and you showed the prospective rock package. And what really stood out to me was the structures these deep-seated structures that are going through that promising rock package. And inside of that promising rock package with the good structure, you had some significant geochem sampling results from surface. And you got started on the one, I think it's on the east side of the project. That's but right. Down to the south and to the west, there's another massive geochem anomaly that's in the right rock package associated with these structures. And that's what blew me away as to the size potential of what you guys are looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, from where we are towards the water heading north, I mean, that's roughly 2 kilometers, but everything to the south has really been underexplored. I mean, there's one showing, I'd say that was drill tested, which is called the K zone. But everything in between, if this is a syncline, so you kind of have sort of like a bowl shape and it comes up on both sides. They've only tested on the east side so far. And that's the big emphasis that we like to make right now, is that in between hasn't been tested, down at depth hasn't been tested, and that whole western side hasn't been tested yet. There's massive showings, like you could see in the geochem anomalies that are present, presence for lead, silver, as well as for copper and zinc. So it's a polymetallic project in the making, absolutely.
Yeah, and these VMS deposits are known to occur in clusters, and you can find these pods, and those pods can get quite large, which is what made the Diamond Fields Resources discovery so impressive. By the way, it sold for about $4 billion in the 1990s. I'm not saying that that's what you guys got, but when I see the right kind of rock package, early drilling is intersecting massive sulfides, and you're already getting these pods of mineralization, it has to have your geological team just beaming with enthusiasm.
Absolutely. I mean, recent addition to the team is Bruce Durham. And one of the big reasons why Bruce joined us back in January was exactly for that reason. He had a chance to visit the core shack in Gander. He'd seen the cores that was coming out, and it was very impressive. So, having guys like Bruce giving us the thumbs up, so to speak, on the potential of this project and joining the team is just, I think it speaks for itself.
Well, what else speaks for itself is the drill core you shared on your website, the sample block of massive sulfides that were in your presentation, and the intersections. I mean, you had several holes there that were grading over 2% copper, up to 6.69% copper, and it's well distributed throughout the holes. That's hard to come by, Andrew.
Yeah, and to go with the high copper numbers, we're also seeing areas where there's significant zinc. It's very encouraging with the prices of metals these days. You've got copper at all-time highs, you got zinc. Like today, April 4th, I mean, last I checked, we're $200 off the all-time high for zinc. And, if you think about zinc, it was kind of the throwaway metal. It was kind of a nuisance metal way back when. But here we are. It's, right there with copper. And I think this is going to be a very important metal moving ahead.
Yeah, 11.9% zinc, 31.96, 4.2. 5.2. Yeah, that's some pretty sweet zinc. And it, often in these VMS deposits, you'll have a grade distribution where you'll have silver and zinc, and then you'll also have, as you get deeper, copper and gold. And you guys are just scratching the surface, and you're already finding both of those base metals that are very important.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be, we have a IP survey planned. And I think once we start to use some of these more modern exploration techniques, it's going to really enhance the project, and it'll give us a deeper understanding of the potential, the true potential of the project. Right now, we're using some of the historical information. Obviously, the drilling helps immensely. But once we get into some of the other geophysical exploration work, it's going to really open up the project, because then we'll hopefully be able to see exactly how the mineralization is occurring and where it's occurring. And, it'll give us better targets for drilling, for future drilling.
Yeah, because the last time there was work done on it, and you weren't using the kind of advanced IP that you can use now, and the IP is really good at picking up those massive sulfides, and I think you're going to see it light up a lot, because this is not a fluke. When you start intersecting thick intersections of high grade, and that's just maybe in a couple of pods, that suggests that there's a big plumbing system down there, and the IP should be able to, light that up.
Absolutely. And, we already know from some of the geochem data that we have, there's some areas that we're very close. We know they're huge targets. We just want to refine some of the targets for drilling. And, hopefully we'll get a chance to test that very, very soon. And, a lot of the work has been really, like I said, 2 kilometers from our northern point of the claims. A lot of the work hasn't been done moving south. And that's what I'm really excited about, is like, as we start to step off a little bit, how many more of these, like you said, how many more of these pods exist on this property? It's in between the 2 western and eastern points, as well as at depth. So, they're I'm not too sure if, we will eventually have some of the video up there, but we have access to the level 4 adit. It's a historical mining tunnel that exists on the site that accesses the main area of mining. There's also the sea level adit. So the infrastructure on the project is like, we have a lot to work with, and that's what I'm very excited about.
Well, it's not lost on me that there was a few areas, 2 in particular, of the geochem that stood out like a sore thumb. One is where you drilled. The second one is to the south and to the west, and that is bigger than the one you've currently drilled. So that's the geochem is definitely pointing towards size.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, Doug Blanchflower, who's been sort of our project geologist, he joined me, I guess, last year around June, and has been instrumental in doing the modeling with the data that we have to date, and really designed a lot of the phases, phase 1, 2, 3, for us. And that's one of the things that he pointed out was, he goes, well, this is a huge bullseye. We gotta, look, do you not see this target? I mean, that was the same information that, you're pointing out right now. And, we'll get to it. It's just a matter of time.
So to put things into context a little bit, you reported how many holes and how many more are pending?
We reported 9 holes of phase 1. In phase 2, we drilled another 29 holes, and I think we've reported on about 20 of them. So we have about another 9 left in phase 2, and all of phase 3, we haven't reported on any. We're just waiting for assay results on.
And how many holes did you drill in phase 3?
Phase 3, we're almost at the end of the program. We had, I think, targeted 60. I think the last hole we were on was 63. So we have another few holes to go, but yeah, there's a lot more data to come.
My gosh, you guys were drilling away without the assay results back from the lab. But when you're seeing massive sulfides like that, the geologists know whether to keep going or to pack it in and wait for some results. It's pretty encouraging that you guys kept poking holes away while you were awaiting assay results.
Yeah, I mean, the visual cues really help. When we're looking at base metals, you can see a lot of the mineralization. That also goes to the experience, right? Having a guy like Doug and really leading the program. So we were able to continue drilling, and we didn't miss a step. We just kept going, and I think now that we have a chance to really get into some other areas of exploration, it'll give us a little bit of a gap, but not much. we do want to get over to some of the other areas and start testing that out very soon as well.
Sure, don't blame you, because that's key package of rock is quite extensive. You've got the geochem, all these VMS pods are not going to come to surface. So, you've got the potential to find many layers of a cake all over your big cake there. And, you've got the faulting that suggests that things are opening up all over the place in this key package of rock.
Yeah, even what we're seeing in the main zone, I mean, the faulting is probably what caused a little bit of a shift. So, what we sort of determined as the northeast and the southwest, even on the main zone, that was probably a more continuous deposit that just we're seeing a little bit off because of the shifting as with the faults. So once we have our modeling done, it'll give us a much better picture. At least we'll get a lot more visual cues on, what the formation looks like there.
And then when you throw the IP on top of that, you guys are going to be able, I mean, you've been doing very well just looking at the geochem and the structural story and the right rock package. Wait until you can put some more data on top of that. That's confirmed with the truth machine. It's not like you are going in there for the first time and you do an IP survey and you say, well, that looks like a good target and that looks like a good target. But if you show it in the drilling, now you've got predictability.
Exactly. And that's the most exciting part. We're finally at the point where, we've confirmed pretty much the historical, we're confirming the strike length of the main zones. And now we're going to be able to go into some of the other areas. And that's where this is more of the size aspect of the project. As we work our way north, as we work our way east and south, and at depth. I mean, these are all key things for the future, building up the value. And I think once that the market really realizes that potential, I think that's sort of when we'll get the real valuation for the company.
Well, I'm glad that I was able to get you on the horn here early in the discovery, because I think that this one's got a lot of legs to it. And let's put it into context. You guys only have 48 million shares out, $60 million valuation. And if it looks like a fraction of a Diamond Fields Resources, that one sold for $4 billion during the 90s. So, there's a big prize out there. And based on what you've done so far, it looks like there's reason to wave your arms like that.
Exactly. I mean, so far the project has been very exciting. And when you start to hit early and you're starting to get confirmation with assays, I mean, this is really when, we can really start driving ahead. The fourth phase is going to be tremendous. Hopefully we can eventually get a second rig on the site. Those are some of the plans that we have for 2022. And, like I said, it's been a pleasure working with the guys on this project. Everyone's committed, even the town. I mean, I just recently had a call with the town of York Harbour, and it's just, the support is unbelievable. It's fantastic.
And how is the cash situation at this point in time, Andrew?
Yeah, no, when we did our financing last year, we raised enough for our third phase, and as we're coming to the end of it. So we'd like to go back and raise enough for our fourth phase of exploration. So drilling, like I said, we're going to be doing some IP, geophysics, and along with the geophysics, we're going to be probably expanding the geochem on the property. So there's a lot of work. I mean, it's not a cakewalk, but the guys are working extremely hard, and I think we'll continue to get the results that we expect to get now.
Well, it sure wouldn't shock me if some of the Sharpies out there that have big checkbooks are starting to give you a call, Andrew, because I can see the writing on the wall of what you guys have already discovered here. And I see that not only does it have high grade potential, it's got size potential, and those kind of assets are really hard to come by. I have a sneaky suspicion you'll be doing a financing at much more attractive valuations here in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I think your crystal ball is pretty correct. It's whatever price we do it at, it's going to be a significant financing, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, they've got every reason to do that. Size and grade are not easy to come by, and you guys are just getting started on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, so far our program is really focused at near surface. We've gone, I think, to a depth of maybe 150, but we were hitting much earlier. So, I think as we move along in the next phase, I think we will test some of the deeper zones that we know exists. But we'll also probably test, like you said, there's 4 other zones that we definitely need to test, and that'll really expand the project.
So lots of holes pending, IP to look forward to. And what's the seasonality like there? Can you drill year round, or what's the situation?
Absolutely. I mean, we're not bound by 4 months. I have a project in northern BC, and we're kind of bound by when we can drill. But in Newfoundland, where we are, it's 12 months of the year. Outside, and the guys are very well adapted, even on with the storms that run through Atlantic Canada. We never missed a beat.
That's awesome, Andrew. I really appreciate your time, and congratulations to you and your team. You guys it's not easy to find these special kind of projects in copper and zinc and cobalt, and you're just scratching the surface. I can't remember how deep they had to go at Diamond Fields Resources, but they had to go pretty deep to get to that avoid zone. And I'm also seeing similarities to the Iberian pyrite belt that has world-class deposits at over 100 million tons of high grade. So good on you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading up on on that, that belt that occurs there, Spain and Portugal. A lot of excitement right now. But the type of deposit that we have is slightly different type of VMS, but the grades that we're hitting though is I think it's right up there. I mean, it's comparable.
Yeah, well, we're the next question is more of these pods and tonnage, and but I got a good feeling about this one, Andrew. I think you're very early days and cheap on the valuation, and a ton of catalysts coming up.
Absolutely. So, I think this story, we're just beginning. Like I said, we started drilling in late July. So I think we've advanced the project greatly. And what's going to be really exciting is, this next phase. This is the phase where we get to do a little bit more outside of the main area, let's just say.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, Andrew. I'm going to close it off. How about you hang around and we'll have a chat when we finish recording?
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Allan.
Well, there you go, folks. I don't throw around the similarities to Diamond Fields Resources or the Iberian pyrite belt easily. It comes down to what the truth machine says, the geology says. These guys are into massive sulfides. You can see it in their core pictures. You can see it in the pictures of their sampling. It's just riddled with that massive sulfides. Now it just becomes an exercise in finding more, expanding on what they know, testing at depth. But I want to reiterate that this company only has a $60 million valuation and 48 million shares out. So they've got everything on the share structure going their way, with the truth machine, with the geology. I think I'll be banging the table on this one for a long time, and have Andrew on for more interviews in the near term. On that note, as always, my shows are for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. But I would stress, do that homework. Go look at their recent corporate presentation. You'll see the big blocks of massive sulfides. Look at their latest news release. You'll see the distribution of high grade. Look at their drill core and you'll see why they're hitting that high grade. And stay tuned, because this company is going to be generating a lot of news that can easily be catalysts to see this company with a valuation multiples of where they currently are. On that note, have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.